Hey guys, I'm back with single issues like promised yesterday. First, a little bit of housekeeping. Thanks very much for commenting and subscribing to my channel. There was like a new wave of new subscribers. Hello to you all, and thanks for taking time and for contributing to my channel. Having said that, I will just do rapid fire reviews of those issues that I have here. It's a few rebirth titles and a few number ones from different publishers, and we'll kick it off with Hellblazer number 1 by DC Comics. So the rebirth issue by the new author Simon Oliver was pretty good. You know, DC is doing this rebirth issues and then they start with number 1. I get the marketing behind it. It's basically having 2 number 1s. I think most shops are ordering like 2 number 1s. It's clever, but mostly the rebirth issues themselves, the one-shots weren't very good. It's a lot of information dump and exposition and just like explaining a lot of stuff and not telling stories. Hellblazer was a bit different in that respect, and I really liked it. So I was eager to read number 1, and it was pretty good. The only thing that bothered me is the art by Moritat. It's a bit uneven, and the coloring especially is really not so good. Let me show you a little bit of it. It feels a little bit amateurish, you know. The grading, the whole stuff doesn't look like a DC comic, but you know, more like an indie comic from a little publisher. So it's not perfect, but I think it's one of the really well written Hellblazer comics from the past few years, and I will definitely stick with it, so I subscribe to it. Next up is Deathstroke number 1. Also a quite nice rebirth issue by Christopher Priest, the author behind the longest Black Panther run and the best Black Panther run in my opinion. And he was also a writer on Quantum and Woody at Valiant, and he's like something of a cult writer. So there are a lot of people who are following him when he gets new jobs at different publishers. And yeah, I didn't care for Deathstroke. I don't know nothing about it. Only that Deadpool was like a kind of a rip-off or homage in a way to Deathstroke. And yeah, so I went into it without knowing anything, and I do know a little bit now. The art on it is okay. It's nothing special. It does the job. The storytelling in the first issue is pretty complex, maybe a bit too complex for its own good. So it's sometimes hard to follow what is happening. Maybe I'm just not intelligent enough. I don't know. But I like that it's complex. I prefer it to be complex, but over being too simplistic. So I'd say Deathstroke, definitely check it out if you're into more political political themes in your comics, having not your cliche run-of-the-mill superhero book. Deathstroke might be something for you. All right, Beetle Rebirth. This is one of those rebirth issues that I mentioned before, where you get the concept explained, but it's done in a fairly okay way. I enjoyed it. It's fun to read. The art by Scott Collins is it's okay. I would say like average and a bit rough in places. I don't really like it when I don't know, when I sense that it's not there with the artist is not there with his whole heart, and I didn't feel that here. The story by Keith Giffen is fun. He can write dialogue. That he's a funny guy, and it reads a little bit for you Marvel heads out there a little bit like Ant-Man by Nick Spencer, but I don't think it's the comic for me. You know, it's more of a comic for teenagers or people who want to read comics for teenagers, and I didn't totally enjoy it so much that I want to come back for number one. Supergirl Rebirth, same thing here. You know, I was quite eager to read what Steve Orlando will do with this teenage character, but it's not that much. The whole world gets established, the cast is established, and the basic premise of the book, which is Supergirl got her powers back. Didn't know that they were gone. However, and now she has to. She's in service of some state organization, and she's supposed to work for them and do good. Yeah, that's it basically. It's kind of a shield organization, and they use Supergirl for their tasks. And I would say skip. It's not bad, but it's just not good enough. Black Hammer by Jeff Lemire and Dean Ostrom, who I really like. He's a great artist. I read in the back matter that he had a brain hemorrhage and was, he couldn't draw for half a year, which is really tragic. And I would say you don't see it in the comic. The comic is awesome. So in between issue 1 and 2, he had his medical problems, and I think the comic looks amazing. I love the coloring. I love the art. Jeff Lemire, the last few books I wasn't completely sold. I used to be a big fan. Now I'm like more torn about him. But this is like really, really great stuff. It's very original. It's basically superheroes from the Golden Age get stuck in a world they don't know nothing about. So they're stuck in a village, and they just can't escape it, and they don't know why they're there. They don't know where the village is, and we get a few hints about this particular place, and it's really well written. It's more for major readers. The language is major readers, definitely. And, it's superhero high concept stories for grown-ups, and I like those. Demonic is a new comic by Skybound, Kirkman's imprint and image. And, he has this other series, Outcast, by Kirkman, which is also about demonic possession, and now he gets the second series about demonic possession, which is written in a very by the numbers book by Chris Sebala, I think. Yes, Christopher Sebala is the author. The art is nice, very detailed. Nico Walter is the artist, and Dan Brown the colorist. They're doing a fine job on it. Sometimes a little bit too detailed, but I wouldn't complain about that. I just complain about the story, which is very much focused on dumping information and introducing concepts. But what about storytelling? It's not much in here about what the story is about and why we should care. And I'd say please skip it. This was like the worst read of the week. Generation Zero is a new team book by Valiant Comics, which I would say is in the vein of, New Mutants, Generation X, or Runaways, maybe most so Runaways. Those are the characters. They're Generation Zero, young superheroes who, if you're a troubled teen, you just call them and they come and help you. And, it's a simple concept done really well. I really enjoyed the issue, and I really liked how the characters get introduced. So they speak a very, you know, young generation language. It's a bit too much, especially because I'm not sure if it's authentic. Fred Van Lente is probably older than 15, but maybe he has kids who speak in this way. It's a bit unnerving at times, but on the other hand, you know, I prefer it if someone tries to get into this world and it's not just generic writing. Yeah, he does a good job. Fred Van Lente does a good job, as does the artist Francis Portela. And I really enjoyed this issue. You should check it out if you're into teenage superheroes. This might be a new book for you. And last but not least, Lake of Fire, a new Image #1. There is a blurb here on the cover. The best debut issue to be published by Image Comics in 2016. And I have to say, it's absolutely true. It was fantastic. It's about a bunch of crusaders, of young guys who want to become crusaders, let's put it this way. And they're on to their mission, and you know, they're teenagers, so they're euphoric, they're idealistic, and they get confronted with the reality of being a crusader, which is much more mundane. And the twist is, and I can't spoil it because it's on the first 2 or 3 pages, they don't get to fight infidels, but aliens. So it's a crazy concept. It's very well written. It's fantastically drawn. You know, you have a lot of new characters, but you instantly catch on to them and relate to them, and it's really, really good. Please check it out. It's an oversized issue, over 40 pages of art and story for $4, so it's worth your money. Yeah, that was it. I will probably put you know, I was telling you that I will do the second part of my collection video this week. I won't manage. It will come out next week. Please tune in again next week. Until then, have a good time. Bye bye.